would like to invite Mr. Phannarith, Director of Information and Communication Technology Security of the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications of Cambodia, to give the presentation on the future of cybersecurity in Asia. Please welcome.
You have the mic? Wireless one?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, good morning. So it's a good kick-off to understand that what is the future of cybersecurity in Asia. Even myself, I don't know too, So how can I deliver a topic on the future of cybersecurity in Asia, Yeah, maybe some of you know me, but the rest maybe not. I'm Phannarith. I'm the Director of Cybersecurity Departments, Ministry of Posts and Telecom. I'm also the professor on cyber risk as well. Besides that, I am also the chair of the Cloud Security Alliance Cambodia chapter, the community-driven cloud initiative. Yeah, and the rest I'm happy to build cybersecurity community in Cambodia. Yeah, that is a brief of my profile. Okay, let me click. Which one? The big one, right? Okay, please again. Okay. So, before we talk about what is going to happen in the near future, let's look at these maps. So maybe some of you are aware and some of you is not. So this is what's happening in cyberspace that we cannot see in our physical world. We need equipment, we need special tools, and we need a device to monitor, to detect, and then we can capture it on this map. And the question is, when you see this, then the question is coming, are we living in a cyber war now? Because you see, everyone attack each other. Is that the question? Or, next, okay. Do we live in cyber peace? I just have these two questions, right? If you don't see what's happening, we might think that we are in peaceful cyber environment. No one attack each other or whatever, we don't hear anything. But after you look at what I just presenting, you see, wow, this is what currently happens, so we are fighting with each other or what? That's the questions to kick off my presentations. And I'm sure I do not have an answer as well. Let's move on. Can you help me to click? Because I click, it does not work. Yes. I don't want to talk anything in technical matter, I'm just presenting in one slide. What's happening to our technical domains of the cyber issue. As you see these pictures, all of these are technologies that enterprise, industry, and everyone put to secure their system, their organization. But finally, it still breaks, It leaks everywhere. That you need the tool, you need the money, you need the investment, to fix it, to amend it, to upgrade. And we do it every day. There is no end for cybersecurity. It's a journey, and it's come for a long time already. So the question reflects back, so how the investment to the cybersecurity tool equipment focus on technology effective and efficient for our business, right? So because I think you are aware that the foundation of the internet is not secure. We build the internet just for sharing to the trusted network. For the moment during the war or something like that. But suddenly it's expanded to business. That we don't know, suddenly we don't know who is who anymore to connect to the internet. That is no cybersecurity foundation. That's just another picture to see, you know, what we are putting implementation in terms of technologies. We always fail. We always fail. And one more please. Back, please. Back. Yes. And we really believe in our men, you know, in our human, in our army, that we try to hire the best engineers, a good technical person with all this certification, qualification. We might think that they are the one who capable to protect our company asset, company ground jewel. But suddenly, yes, one, please, it will be like this one, you know. Even though you have 100 of your strong men inside your organization, finally, your organization still got hit. Yeah, so that happening is about the social engineering that everyone is already aware. That's just a trigger to our management, to our cybersecurity program, to consider as a holistic approach. So everything needs to be integrated, connected each other to better protect the system. It is not a silo implementation anymore, and especially we focus more on people, very important, right? Right. There, so what are the response? So in the response, I put into 3 pillars. First is about the personal, of course. The personal is person, individual. We will try to be our digital citizen. Yeah, we understand how to secure ourselves, how to secure our computer. That we need to be aware and to know, to understand it well by ourselves. Otherwise, we will become a victim. And this is our responsibility to secure it. For the global, of course, we do law and regulation, cooperation between law enforcement, and we need to harmonize what we think need to be the same. Crime in Cambodia, also crime in Thailand, also crime in Vietnam, also crime in Indonesia. That's why we can make cooperation work more better. If Cambodia is a crime, Thailand is not a crime, it's not impossible, you know, to catch the person who are doing it, the bad actors. That we call it harmonization of the law and regulation and cooperation. We do the norm, technical discussion, and exchange of the best practices in the region. But for national one, we also trying our hard to develop our policy, our framework, technical capability, including cooperation with the government and private sectors, and capacity buildings and international cooperation. This slide is just show that in Asia, in ASEAN region, now each country, they try to focus on this matter, right? Personal and national, plus how to work as the global one as well, to harmonize the regional. In case here, we focus on ASEAN. Okay. So when I see the topic that raised by this event to me, future of cybersecurity Asia, cybersecurity in Asia, I'm thinking what perspective that I'm looking at. Because cybersecurity is too big. We are talking about geopolitics, or you want me to talk about legal matters? You want me to talk about regional capability? Or you want me to talk about the regional cooperation? So many things, many aspects. If we just said cybersecurity, and it's a one-month talk discussion when I saw this topic. So I try to be smaller, make it a bit smaller. So I try to catch up with every one of you. I think everyone here come from different background. Maybe from technical person, policy, from education, from business, from enterprise, from government. So the perspective when you look at cybersecurity is not the same. Then we need a platform that everyone sit together and think it as the elephants. Yeah, some folks, they talk that cybersecurity is a technical one. Okay lah, you just buy equipment, putting a solution, it's done. It's done deal. They may be thinking like that. Believe me, in some enterprise, they think like that. We buy this equipment in, we put the solution in. I think it works, right? Right. But it's about software and hardware. The other, they said, no, it's a cybercrime matter. If you talk to the law enforcement guys, the police guys, they think it's about cybercrime. It's about catching the one who do something bad. It's about develop the law that we can have the tool to prosecute the cyber criminal. And if you talk about with the military, they said, no, it's the domain of war. It's the domain of conflicts. We can initiate the war using the cyber means. So if the country that attack us using the cyber means, so what our response? If you talk this with the company, they have no ideas. But if you discuss about this with the military guys, intelligent guy, they might be come have a cup of coffee, discuss it more, right? It's a matter of that. It's a matter of who you are talking to, in what perspective that you can come up with that. It's about national security. Yeah? Who is talking about national security? The National Security Board, they might be saying it's a national security matter. Right. If they attack to the electricity grid, if they attack to the water supply, of course it affects the citizen, affects economy, and it can be social as well. So it can become the national security. What our response if we think that it is a national security matter? For example, the ransomware case. Right. The United States think that it is a national security matter. So what is the response? Response is not like the simple thing, right? National security, everything, put effort to do it. And it's about political matter. Who thinking is about political? Foreign affairs guys, diplomat guys. They think cybersecurity is a matter of political matter. Right? They try to gain the benefit, the interest, to get the benefit of their own country. Otherwise, it become a barrier or become a domain that they will lose the interest. Right? And sovereignty. Right? In nationwide, they might be seeing it a sovereignty matter. And international security matters. And information warfare domain. And human rights. And not forget it. In the civil society, they don't talk about hardware, they don't talk about sovereignty, they talk anything. They said freedom of speech and human rights. So we know how the person who is that we are dealing with. And this is what's happening in the future of Asia. So we need to have every person who can dealing with this kind of issue, and we talk to the right people, right? We cannot talk human rights with industry. No, they don't care. Right? We cannot talk national security with the cybercrime. No, they differentiate it. Right? And it's all? I don't think it's all yet. It can become a trade barrier. When you issue the cybersecurity standard for your country, what's happening? It looks like a trade barrier. I cannot do like your standard, so I cannot import the equipment, the good into your country. Then it can become the trade barrier. WTO again. It go back to WTO. So the issue is not alone. When you discuss it, it's connected. That's why I said that now, every sector that related to digital, you need to understand, you need to be a diplomat. For example, you work at Ministry of Commerce, you need to be a diplomat in commerce matter. Otherwise, you cannot negotiate to get the interest of the country. If you don't understand, it will become a trade barrier already. Right? What else that I can think about? Cyber warfare and cyber terrorism. There's many things. Just the word cybersecurity alone. I cannot cover everything. I just put for you to think about. That's why I think what should I talk is about the future in Asia. You know? What else? I just raised up some of regional issue, specifically on policy matter. So this is what happening right now. Is a hot topic discussion in regional. It's about cloud policies. Cloud policy, because why? Because it related to data localization versus data residencies. This is a hot topic. Each country, they try to set data localization. Industry, they try to focus on data residencies. So both parties talk differently. So how can this work? We need a compromise one. Come, industry and government to discuss to find the middle ground, you know, on the data localization and data residencies. And this is not finished yet. It's come for the cross-border data flow already. Even in ASEAN, we discuss mechanism for business to transfer personal data to the other country for conducting business. We know every business right now cannot be a silo one. They need to be connected, share information to survive in this digital world, right? To do business across the country. That's why we think also about the cross-border data flow. This one is also, I know everyone's not understand it well. It's very hip-hop between all the big industry players. The data that flow between the US and the EU, they try to set up a mechanism, blah, 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 many things. And seem to be like it's a hot topic in the few years ahead is about data itself, right? Because, you know, data is the new oil, right? And if country do not have the data to process, you cannot generate economy from it, right? And it's about data protection, data security, fintechs, AIs, and metaverse. And this is, yesterday I saw it. It will coming to us, right? Yeah, the ChatGPT, yeah, push the German man to kill himself. This is what we expected, we imagined it, but finally it's coming up. It's about the power of the AI. We still follow this closely. How is going to move about the ChatGPT version 4 that is more capable of the response of the knowledge for the AI. Yeah, I just touch on maybe I touch on all general things matter, but in here I just want to highlight on one particular topic only. I'm talking about the norm. The norm where is currently discussion heavily at the UN level. That's why everyone might somehow not aware of it, but that's why I think this I good and I put this up is about the 11 norm of the responsible state behavior in cyberspace. That they discussing each country how should they perform in cyberspace. So they issue 11 norm that everyone is agree, and in ASEAN we also we said that the word subscribe in principle already to this 11 norm, and each country in ASEAN now they put up the implementation roadmap, how to implement the norm itself. We cannot start with any convention, we cannot start with any law on cyber issue, global one. So the good kick off is non-voluntary binding norm. That's one they agree to do it for the time going, yeah. That's 11 norm. Maybe I just raise up a little bit, and might be affect everyone here, because it's a state between state and state. Even we are industry, we also can affect from that one as well. First, it's about the cooperation on cyber matter. They encourage state and state to cooperate each other. Second one, consider all relevant information first between doing any attribution. Right, study, analyze all information. And the red one is the one that negative. We call it negative. Prevent misuse in ICT in your territory. This is about the due diligence matters. When something happens, we are the state, have the due diligence to stop the actor that use our territory to attack the others. So, the question say that, do we have capability to stop or not? That also reflect to us for industry, for government, and cooperation to stop cybercrime, terrorism, respect human rights, do not damage critical infrastructure. That's the red one, Don't attack critical infrastructure like the water supply, electricity grids, oil and gas. But you see what's happening now? They attack that one already. Electricity grid of Ukraine or whatever like that. The US, the US gas, right, pipeline, all of this is number 6. They issue the norm, but everyone's not yet implemented yet. They still attack. They use the gray zone to do it. The state not do it by himself or by herself. They have another third party to do it. Look like gray areas that everyone can bypass the international responsibility. Protect critical infrastructure, respond to the request, ensure supply chain, report on ICT vulnerability. Some countries did not report it. They keep it for their own benefit. That's why the norm coming up, if you know anything wrong, you need to report. But some countries, they keep it for their own benefit. And do not attack the Red Cross. The Red Cross here is mean computer emergency response team. Every country, we have a third team to do incident response, early warning. So the norm say that don't attack them. They are the Red Cross. So they help everyone in the country to stabilize. But this is the one who targeted as well, because they are the one who have more technical capability. Yeah, I think that's all. This is how the future of Asia look like. I don't know whether this topic is reach your idea or not, but it's very big, it's broad, it touch everything, and not talking about geopolitics yet, but it also included that will be happening in our Asia. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, for cybersecurity as a whole, the challenges itself is different from each other to which organization you belong. It's a slide that I show you the elephant itself. So each point of it, they have a different challenges itself. Right? Have you heard about the commercials? Have you heard about the government? Maybe about academia itself. So I'm talking about perspective of government. So for government, the challenging is about how we can put a regulation that everyone can accept it. This is the first challenging on cyber, especially on cyber issue, So the regulation, the policies need to be addressed to every stakeholders inside the chains. For cyber security matter, or we call it internet governance, another part, there are 7 layers. So we need to have consultations, discussions amongst all related stakeholders. We don't want to put a regulation as a barrier for innovation. So we need to talk with the industry itself. But unfortunately, in Cambodia, we don't have the industry itself here. They need to fly in from Vietnam, from Thailand, from Singapore. We cannot call them today and they come tomorrow. That is a challenge for Cambodia. I can say that, right? Some office they cover from Vietnam, some they cover from Thailand. That's a challenge for us as well as a government to consult, to deal with all the regulation. This is one. Secondly, is about the regulators. Empower the regulators. We need the human capacity who understand the emerging technologies, who understand the movements, advancements of technology itself. Otherwise, we will issue the regulation that not fit your needs. And then you will complain back. Hey, why the government issue? Why I issue that? Because I do not know much about it. We have limitation, can we say that? We have limitation on technology evolution. This I refer to the partnership, the cooperation between the industry and the government. We need a platform to talk, to share, discuss together, have a conversation. What is your challenges and what are the government challenges? And we come to have a compromise one. That also reflect to the capacity building as well, right? So we need not just a technical training, just say like that. We need policy training. We need to understand how regional movements. This is a good platform that we can share, we can learn each other's. So it's not benefit the government alone, it benefit the business as well. So they understand the climate of each country. So when they work together, they understand how they behave. Right, work effectively, efficiencies. That I just talk one part of government, but discuss only regulation itself. I'm not talking about government capability to respond to the attack. I'm not yet talking about how to ensure everyone complies to the government standard. The industry will complain, it become a burden, something like that. If the government issue a standard regulation compliant, the industry will say, it's our investment, it's another investment cost. How come? Something like that, That we actually trying hard to balance it. And maybe we can come out with kind of incentive to compensate cybersecurity investment. That's the way we need to talk, because cybersecurity is not a cheap product. It's very expensive. And if you want to secure the nation, everyone needs to be secure. If one of them is the weakness, the whole chain will collapse. That's why SME is the most targeted one. If you think that in the big industry is the most hit one, no, it's not. SME, because they are the one who invest less, no budget, and they are the one who hit the most. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for that. That's a really good point there too, because I think if we get our policy right and we have our regulations, I think that technology is always going to be there. Like we're always going to see the advancement of newer, better, smarter, faster. The one that we haven't really touched on is people. Ultimately, it's the people that are the users of technology. And I think there's certainly, I think from a Cambodian perspective, currently we have about 153% penetration rates of mobile phones, smartphones. So technically everyone has 1.5 phones. That's a lot of Facebook. That's a lot of, potential online banking and other things. So how can we focus on the people aspect, because like I said, how do we stop, even though we got all the technology, we got all the regulation, how do we stop people from being victims? I'll open the floor to...
I think is, how to stop it. We cannot stop. Because it's about psychological of the persons, of the individual. Today, okay, of course, you're very cautious. You can stop everything. And then nighttime you have argue with your wife. Tomorrow morning you will click. That's it. Is it about it. That's why in the organization level they put many control. I call it many wall to protect this kind of type of attacks. Because they will show that human is the weakness links. Finally, even you are the most better, prepare, protect, whatever, you will one day will hit. Yeah, that's why they put many control inside. They need technology, because a human will be broken, technology will alert, something like that. That the way how we implement cybersecurity. As I always said, when we focus on cyber, we touch on 3 areas. People is the one we are thinking first. People, process is the second one. Lastly, we put technology in. Because we know that this will break. Technology is the last line of defense. And as you are aware, I show you the slide already, how technology defends us. Always fail too. So how can we see? That's why now we don't use the word how to be secure. We cannot. We use the word resilient. How to make our system more resilient. Before, during, and after. We need to be sure that we need to test it out. Only the way of that. And when something happens, how fast you can recover is a matter of response. Because, mostly the industry, the enterprise, last time they think that they enjoy invest in protection method. That the equipment, they buy hardware, expensive, protect, they think that this hardware will protect them. But it is not. Always fails. So now, we suggest you move from focus on protection, you move on response to be more resilient. Even there is an attack, you still can operate with minimal one, and then you recover and make a lesson learned to improve your operations capability to be higher. That's one I can say inside that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Gee, thanks for that. That was pretty insightful. I think makes a lot of sense, because we always know that the technology is always going to advance with time, but I think as humans, we need to follow that. And for those who probably understand Cambodia, 75% of our population lives in the provinces, and even though they're armed with mobile phones, a lot of them still don't even have a bank account. So goes on to my next topic, next question, and I'm going to apologize to Bong Rit. I'm going to throw you a little bit under the bus, actually. We learnt about the e-Estonia, so e-Estonia, e-cards, ID cards. And I'm wondering, what are some of the learnings there that we could possibly adopt in Cambodia, given that we also have an ID card, and we still run the resident book, and we still have some, I think as our audience would know, when we order food on Yama Pay Bun, they will call us almost every time because they can't track us or find our address. So are there things that potentially we could be looking at from MPTC? Thank you, brother.
Okay, thank for the question. Actually, when you throw to the bus, I'm also climbing up the bus already. Okay, for Estonia case study, so far Cambodia benchmark, we call it benchmarks. the X-roads system of the Estonia. It talk about here we call it CamDX, Cambodia data exchange, where the platform that everyone can exchange the data to each other. They have the principle of build one, use always. So they try to eliminate duplicate data and data hosting only in one agency only. For example, your personal data, your ID card data, usually it belongs to the Ministry of Interiors. And now it still belongs to Ministry of Interior. But last time it duplicated everywhere. So now they have ability to check, to verify that this information is correct, true or not, by do not need to duplicate the data everywhere again. For example, it also benefits the banking sector. They want to do the eKYC information for that. That part of I call it benchmark. For my perspective, we cannot copy and paste. We cannot take everything from Estonia because environment is not the same. Political, legal, people cannot, right? For example, you talk about the smart card, very successful in Estonia. The card itself, in Berlin with the chip, PKI, digital signatures. But here, if you want to do like that, I think it will collapse. It's not working, yeah, because of the readiness, the technology itself, the peoples, right, the environment, the law to support. That's why I always, inside some debate, some discussion, conversation, they always talk about this country success, this country success. I always said, maybe you only know one law in Estonia, and then you copy and to be our own. But you don't know how many sub-regulations that related with that law that enforce the implementation of it, that make it successful. Otherwise, this law is not successful. And we, as a Cambodian, we are not Estonian. We do not know everything, how law related, what regulation the other that support this kind of stuff. For example, the smart card, how many regulation or policy to support that? Any incentive involved to implement it for the citizen, for the ministry, or for what? We don't know, and we just want to implement and not agree with that. Completely failed. That I just wanted to highlight on it, right?
Thanks for that. I've been told we have only a few minutes left, and I'm sorry we're a bit out of time, but I'd like to open the floor to everyone. Got any questions? If they're difficult, even better. Please raise your hands and speak up.
Hello. I don't think it's working. Yes. My name is Tia. I work in MJQ Education. My whole life, I am an educator. I'm also a single mom. So I think that gives me a reason to be paranoid. It's the second day I've been listening to this. And then I keep reading the title, Cybersecurity, Privacy, and Data Protection. And then I was thinking to myself, if I tell this to, if I'm teaching this subject to my students, I need to simplify the title. And the title, if it's simplified, it says how to keep a secret, right? My dad once told me, it's no longer a secret if you share it with just one person. And then that makes me think. It also, because I watch too many sci-fi horror films, if it's like in Estonia, where you literally put all of your data in a trust in one person or one government or institution hand, literally, if that person didn't like you, they don't need even a ninja to eliminate you in that country. You just have to press delete button. No snipers, no ninja, no extradite, or not even not even a court. Just delete. That person is no longer there. Money is wiped out and everything. That makes me think, like, maybe the first thing is to share what you need to share, not to just share everything. You know, like, sometimes I'm also like, have a big issues like not reading 1 gazillion, you know, paragraphs that says like, oh, before I register Facebook. But back in the day when I registered Facebook, I thought it was safe as well. Now it turned out it's not so safe. You know, I just like to be, you know, informed, like, because from the first day I was like, oh, it's problem of infrastructures, this culture as well. Now it became one part of things. Like, what is it for us who are not tech savvy? What should we do? I mean, because this is really worrying for us, especially if you think about it, like I'm working in education, children's data there, and, you know, something like that. Yes, thank you.
I asked for a tough question. I think we got one. I think.
Maybe I add on a bit.
Yeah, I think she makes a good point too, because recently I'm aware of some high-profile hackings. So in Australia, I think 5 million passport records were stolen from one of the largest telecommunications carrier. So the government had to compensate the reissue of 5 million passports. So that's a big cost, but also that feeling of violation. Brother?
Yeah, for me, you know, as a normal users, I call it citizens. I already mentioned about digital citizenship as a first. It means that as we are living in the digital era, it is us that need to understand, that need to find a way how to understand technology, at least amongst your personal device. Not advanced, but at least your personal device, your smartphone, how to use, how secure. It is not the responsibility of the others to teach you. I think it's yourself. If you go to open an e-banking or whatever, of course, the bank will tell you a little bit, don't do this, don't do that, but ourselves need to find out more, because the scam is evolving every day to different tactic, but finally the same to get your money. It's about, I call it, awareness, to understand, and for government, why we have the regulation, the compliant part, the law part to support the citizen in terms of putting it to the industry itself. You know, for example, you use your online apps. As a user, you even don't know that. When you put your username, your password in the app itself, will it store in a secure manner or not? You put password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will the app developer, they store the password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or they store it as encrypted? You don't know, we don't know. As the user, we just use it. That the government job to put the regulation or compliance, all the apps that go to be online need to be tested, and have a guideline, password need to be secure, storing, and it reflects to the part when the data has been leaked. If the database has been encrypted properly, even it is stolen, leaked, or somehow, your private information haven't leaked out. But because those are encrypted, you have the chance to change the password or whatever like this. But if they're not encrypted, you will, as you said,
They will go to your Facebook, they will go after your Google, your Gmail, because you use this password every services, the same password. That is a part of, still say it is a digital citizenship. You don't need to use password every service for the same password. You need to know. Don't put your password 8 character. You need to use at least 12 character up. Short, letter, combination. Don't use your name. Don't use date of birth. That's the way how you do when you protect yourself from COVID. Wear a mask, clean your hands, try to be separate outside. But finally, you still infected. It's the same. Even you follow my guideline, all password, secure, system up to date, blah, blah, blah. Finally, you got been hacked. You still got hacked. Why? Not directly hack you. Hack the third party. Hack the service that you use. But you never notice it. For example, I using LinkedIn. They not hack me. They hack LinkedIn. So they hack LinkedIn, all my email, all my password belong there. So I need to be aware that now LinkedIn has been hacked. I need to go and change my password immediately. We don't know that they can crack my password or not. That's the way, even we secure ourselves, but we don't know the other services secure or not. They hack the others, finally come back to us. So I can come to conclusion, awareness. We try to catch up to learn around us for what happenings and to catch up with safety measures like we do for COVID. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. I've been given 1 minute marching orders, so thanks for that. I think the topic that you raised as well is actually quite big. I think this afternoon's sessions will touch on it as well, but I think it largely also brings about the question of, as you said, so many things we didn't have 20 years ago, and we have them now. So the question is, like you said, when you sign up for something, whether it be Facebook or an online service, I guess my take on that is, do you adapt to that, or do you stay still? Because there's dangers in doing both. Because if you don't adapt, I think you're left behind. And if you're left behind, that's where you stay. So I don't think that's a great answer, but I think it's the question about whether you want to adapt to all the changes that's going around you. And it's not an easy answer, because I know 2% of my friends are not on Facebook, and that is absolutely their choice. So I just want to say a big thank you to our guest panelists. Thank you for your wonderful insights, and in particular, learning about Mongolia, Estonia, Coca-Cola. I used to work for Coca-Cola a long time ago. So it's really good to have everyone, and thanks always, Neil, for those wonderful insights. Thank you.